Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quatt, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Madison Wolfe. How's it going today?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Everything is great. Texas is hot, even
Oh, I'm
though
sure.
it was like I came home and it was like I was out in New Mexico and I came home and it was like 80 degrees outside, but it was like the hottest 80 degrees I've ever felt in my life.
It's
So
a dry heat, isn't it?
yeah. No, not
Or
not
it's
in
humid.
Texas. New Mexico, it's a dry heat, which
Okay.
is what I love, but coming here, it's like humid sometimes, sometimes it
Ugh,
isn't. I don't know. It's weird. So
that's brutal. That
yeah.
is brutal.
Yeah. So how's everything? You're in Nashville now. How's
I
everything been
am.
going in Nashville?
It's good. We're getting our first taste of fall, which is great. I love it. But yeah, things are going. It's been real hot, so things have been kind of slow. When it gets hot, I feel like people kind of slow down a little bit and hang out by the pool. But
Yeah.
it's getting cooler, so we're kind of gearing back up.
Nice, nice, nice. And so you've been in Nashville for, you said since 2020 or you graduated Belmont in
Yeah,
2020?
so I went to Belmont, got a music business degree, and I graduated a semester early. I pride myself on that. Get in, get out.
Yeah.
In 2020.
Okay.
So I've been here full time since then. I kind of in college did a lot of back and forth between home and here. So full time
Fair,
for 4 years.
fair enough. And so you're originally from Wisconsin, which I have a little bit of a problem with that, but that's
Oh
okay.
no. Is it a Packers problem?
I'm from Chicago, so,
Oh no. Well, the
but it's
Bears beat the Titans yesterday, so
technically yes, but no, but uh, so you grew up around Milwaukee. I'm not going to butcher. I was sitting here for 10 minutes trying to figure out how to say your hometown's
I
name, and I was
know.
just like, you know what?
It's Menominee Falls. It's
Okay,
a lot. Growing up, like learning how to spell it, they always said me no money, but
okay,
money is with two E's instead of an EY.
okay. Well, because that the best I came up with was Menno money or something
Oh
like
yeah. Yeah.
that. That's about where I was at with it, and I was just like, you know
Yeah.
what? Forget it. So
Yes. It's very, we have a lot of native tribal towns, and it's like it gets people every time.
yeah, that reminds me of the scene from Wayne's World where they go see Alice Cooper in Milwaukee
Yeah.
and talking about exactly that about the native origins of Milwaukee. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, yeah,
There's like Oconomowoc and like all those crazy places, and you're like, I'm sorry, how do you spell that?
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
People don't know.
So, growing up in Wisconsin, obviously the Midwest is a very hardcore place to kind of grow up in general. You've got hardcore all four seasons. Where does music kind of fit into all this? Is it something that was always kind of there? Whereas your parents, you know?
Totally. So I I could sing before I could talk. My dad always said, he's like, you were always humming, and just he's like, I knew you were gonna like to sing. My dad was in cover bands his whole life. He actually had a high school band that they like wrote their own music and everything. In college, they did, and then he was in and out of cover bands. And so I grew up with my little ear pressed to the kitchen floor because the band room, we called it, was under the kitchen. So we would like press our ears to the floor and try to listen to rehearsal. And I grew up going to all the shows that I could go to, right? Whenever they played in a
Yeah.
park or at the zoo, I was like front row. So I loved watching him be on stage, and I would go to shows early and watch him set up. And it was so fascinating. And I learned how to kind of set up and tear down just a little bit, a
Yeah.
little bit. Oftentimes I was told, hey, thank you, but we got it.
Mm.
But I learned how to wrap a mic cable when I was like 8 or 9. But I wanted to play guitar. He was like, I'll teach you to play guitar. I've, at this point been singing my whole life, and they put me in singing lessons when I was 7. And I wanted to learn to play guitar, but it was always like, oh, not right now. Not right now, Dad. I don't. And he's like, all right, like I'll teach you whenever you're ready. So bless his heart, I remember it was my 12th birthday because it was my golden birthday. I was born on November 12th.
Mm.
I went to see my first Taylor Swift concert. And I feel like so many females in this industry are like, Taylor Swift is everything. And regardless of how you feel about her, like you got to admit, like she inspired a whole lot of people,
Yeah.
just like with the relatability and everything. And I was like, I want to do that.
Right.
I think that's what I want to do. And so my parents were always just so fostering in that. And I get home from the concert, and my dad, bless his heart, he had been at a show until 3 a.m. with his band. I woke him up at 6. Dad, you got to teach me to play guitar right now. And he's like, totally. Give me a few more hours of sleep. And I was like, no, Dad, like right now. And he got up after 3 hours and like when you're in a cover band, you load in all the equipment, you play a 4-hour set, and then you tear down
Yeah.
and drive an hour home. So the poor guy was exhausted. He got up and he taught me a couple chords. He's like, these are like the 4 or 5 chords that you need. Look up your favorite song. It's probably these chords. I'm going back to bed. And bless him, I sat there until my fingers were like crusted and bleeding, and I just he had to put on the computer screen like, you cannot play guitar until you've done your homework, and it just
Nice.
it kind of fostered that. And as soon as I could play and get an instrument in my hand, the songs just fell out, and I pretty much never turned back. I took guitar lessons from a local legend. His name was Keith Pulvermacher, and he died a couple years ago of lymphoma, which is absolutely heartbreaking. But he taught me how to be a songwriter. He was
Oh,
like,
wow.
do you want to learn guitar? Because you're seeming very uninterested in the scales I'm trying to teach you. Like, this is kind of the fundamental for guitar. And he was like,
Yeah.
what do you want to learn guitar for? And it's like, well, I want to be an artist. I want to sing on stage and write my songs. And he's like, all right, I'm going to teach you how to write then. So every Thursday for 4 years, 5 years, at 5:30, my dad and I would drive 35 minutes and we would have a writing session, and it changed my life.
Nice. I just had this weird vision in my head of you waking your dad up at 6 a.m. to teach you how to play guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and you sitting there for hours learning, but cutting the hell out of your fingers, like building all
Yeah.
that stuff, and then going to wake up your dad because you figured it out or whatever, and you're just like covered in your own blood because I've tried to play guitar, and after
Yeah,
about 10 minutes, my hand was just
totally.
blistered red. So it's like,
Totally.
yeah,
Yes, that's a little more gory than it went down, but yes, I mean it was very like, I got it. And he's like, okay, like you're getting there. You
yeah.
don't got it though, girl. Like you gotta slow down. And I'm just my nickname growing up was Ready, Fire, Aim.
Oh,
Because I'm just like, let's do it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bang. And then it's like, oh, where'd it go? Well, you weren't ready.
yeah.
So, so that's I kind of steamrolled my way in and haven't really turned back.
Hey, it works, right?
It
And
worked.
so from that point forward, that was kind of the transition. Were you involved in like school project or school functions like choir, stuff like that, or
So I was in the band.
Mm,
I played trumpet in the band.
nice.
It was the whole thing. Yeah, can't really sing and play trumpet, but no, it was funny. I had such bad anxiety in high school, and that's not what was funny. It was very not funny. What was funny was when I was on stage singing and doing music, it was gone. Playing trumpet was a whole other story. That was very anxiety inducing. But like anytime I was up there playing a song or singing, like my anxiety just melted away. And that's kind of when I realized, like, oh, this is what you need to do, because I couldn't sit in class without, like, I'm a big advocate for mental health, and I couldn't sit in class without having a panic attack half the time. But getting up on stage in front of a whole auditorium of people didn't bother me at all. And I'm like, maybe this is what you need to do.
Yeah. See, vice versa. Getting up in front of an audience would send me into a catatonic
Oh yeah,
something or yeah. So
most people. Oh, I'm sure yeah, I'm sure it's a nightmare for most people, but that's like where dreams are made of for
right,
me.
right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. And so then uh you mentioned that you started to learn how to become a songwriter once you weren't learning the chord. Was I understanding that correctly? Like your teacher wasn't.
Yeah. So my dad was like, you want to learn guitar? Like, I can teach you. But my dad played bass in all the
Mhm,
bands. Like, don't get me wrong, he could play guitar. But he was like, if you want to learn, like, I want to have someone teach you.
mhm.
So the first lesson he booked with this huge legend, a guitar legend in Milwaukee. And first lesson, he's like, yes, we're gonna start with some fundamentals. And I was like, oh, geez, like this sounds horrible. He's showing me these scales, and I was like, what? Like, I don't want to do, we're
Yeah.
not on the same page is what's
Yeah.
happening. And I was just like, man, this is brutal, dude. And he's like, all right, time out. Cause like I was under the impression that you wanted to like learn to play guitar and you can't really learn to play guitar without learning the scales. And I was like,
Mm,
I think I don't want to do that. And he was like, well, if you want to be a songwriter and an artist, he's like, you can hire a guitar player, but if you
yeah.
can't write, you're never going to make it in Nashville.
Yeah.
So he's like, we need to learn how to write. And so through writing songs with him every week, he would be like, hey, look at this, check this out. I have so
Yeah.
many videos. And after he died, I went through and found everything. And I have all these videos of me being like, can you play that again? Play it. Teach me how to. And I'm like recording him as he's like playing this guitar lick. And I'm like, I spent the next month and a half memorizing it, like
Nice.
trying to play what he wrote. So I did learn guitar through him. It
Yeah.
just, there were no skills.
Fair.
Absolutely no skills.
Fair. So you ultimately learned what he was trying to teach you, but through what you wanted to learn. Is that
Pretty much summing me up. Yeah. I'll learn what you want to teach me, but we're going to do it my way.
fair? Hey, it happens. And then was Nashville kind of always the goal once you kind of transitioned into music, or was that something that just kind of
Yeah.
came? Yeah, go ahead.
So there's a huge music attorney here in town, and I'm not gonna say his name or anything, but my grandma is friends with his cousin, like some random thing, and she was showing off my music or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna send it to my cousin." And my grandma's like, "I don't care, like send it to whoever." And this attorney emails me, and it's this long scrollable email, and he's like, "I want to meet with you. You need to come to Nashville." I was 14 at the time, and so I met with him, and he's like, come down to Nashville, meet with me, set up meetings with all these people. And he was like, you need to be here. You need to go to Belmont. You need to take singing lessons at Singing Success with Brett Manning. And it's funny because now I'm a vocal coach under my old vocal coach. I learned how
Nice.
to do that. And like, he's like, you need to meet with these marketing companies and all these things and join NSAI, which has been, a blessing. And so after meeting with him, I was like, oh, Nashville is like what I need to do. I kind of had an idea,
Hmm.
like that's where I wanted to be, but he was kind of like, this is your path, kid. And so I just kind of ran.
I kind of surprised that didn't set your anxiety super high, because I would have just like I would have lost my mind, because it's like, oh, I'm just kind of getting shoved into the deep end here. And
I love the deep end. Deep
yeah,
end, you learn to swim.
fair, very fair. So then it was at age 14, Nashville kind of became the dream, and then yeah, now you're living there full time. So how's
I can't.
Nashville?
It's great. It's the dream, man. It's funny because I used to get in trouble with my high school
Hmm.
because I'd like be yanked out of school so much to come down
Yeah,
here. It was probably 2 or 3 times a year. I would take
yeah,
a week off with my dad and come down here, and my teachers would be like, "Hi, you can't do that." I'd be like, "Well, I gotta go, so we'll
yeah.
see when I get back." But it feels just like it did the first day, and there's something crazy about driving up and down Music Row, like on your way to a write at one of the major
Hmm.
labels. There's a buzz in the air, and I feel like when you're here and you're kind of in the rhythm of it, you can lose sense of what it is that you're doing, right? Because you're just like got your head down, you're running, you're trying to do this thing that everybody and their mother is trying to do. Like you could throw a stick and it would hit two people who are also trying to do this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, but if you lose sight of it, like you lose that feeling of electricity that goes through your body. Like on a Sunday morning, you can drive down Music Row and just feel electric with the
Hmm.
vibes of all the legends, past, present, future. Like you can feel it.
Hmm.
And
I
it is the most magical thing.
Yeah, one of the first times went down Music Row, um, I was a couple of buddies of mine. We were there doing like acoustic sets with
Oh,
musicians. We were like filming them and whatnot.
yeah.
And we had the morning off because the soundstage we were using, it was Monday, and Monday was kind of their we're only open for a few hours type
Ah,
situation. And so I was like, you know what? We've got from whenever we wake up in the morning until 2 to go
mhm.
do whatever we want. Let's go drive down Music Row. And so we
Yeah.
went down Music Row, while we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do for breakfast. It was like 9:30 in the morning, and it was the craziest place I've ever seen in my life. Like there's people coming in and out, walking up and down.
Yes, it's crazy.
It's like it's 9:30 on a Monday. What are you
Oh,
guys doing here?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And my favorite thing is, and I'm sure they had it then too, is all the signs of like, congratulations on your number one. And like, just all the, yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. I
Yeah.
love it. Like, that's who I want to be. I want to be like her. I want to write like him. And it's so inspirational.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to move there. I'm getting back like so I the last time I was there before this year was right before the pandemic. I was there
Okay.
January 2020, and then the pandemic hits, and then it took me a couple of years to kind of get back to Nashville just because traveling and finances and all that stuff. And this year I've been 3 times already. And
Wow.
so it's like I'm trying to get in the groove to where it's like I'm going there so often where it's like maybe I just need to move here,
Sure.
you
Totally.
know. So
Totally. I get that.
but every time I go, it's like I work my butt off every time I go, but every time I come back, everybody's like, "You're like happy right now." And I was
Yes.
like, "I don't know why. I just did
Yeah.
60 podcasts in 3 days. I have no voice. I'm dead tired." And they're like, "But you look like super
Yeah.
happy right now."
Because it's
So
not work when you're
yeah,
doing what you love, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, where are you kind of at creatively right now? Obviously, you've been releasing music since you graduated from Belmont, and you released a single earlier this summer called
Mhm.
Bikini Ready.
Yes, yes, love
Uh,
that song.
How's
Uh,
how's everything been going with the songwriting and all that fun stuff?
it's good. I'm writing for myself. I'm writing for other artists. It's been a blast. I used to write like 5 days a week, sometimes more. And I, have kind of been since I released Bikini Ready this summer, kind of taken not a step back, but
Mhm.
just I'm giving myself space to kind of find inspiration again. And when you're writing 5 6 times a week, it's like sometimes if you let it, which I let it, it can become kind of exhausting. And it's like
Mhm.
I needed to take a step back and remember why it is that I got into this, right? And I think that's okay. I think you need to, take a step back when you need to take a step back. And but I've still been writing a lot and it's been great. And so I'm coming up with some of the best stuff that my team and I have ever come out with. And I've got my group of people that I'm kind of falling into. They always said at NSAI, like, you got to find your people. And I'm finding my people that I create the best with. And so it's just jam packing my schedule full of writes with them. And yeah, we've got a lot of really exciting stuff coming up.
Nice, nice. What's the since Bikini Ready was released earlier this summer and it was it was the summer song, right? Is that yeah, okay. I
Totally.
I was sitting there, I was like, okay, this has got to be the summer song. And then I assumed that for somebody else a while back, and they're like, no, my summer song's coming out now. And it's like, it's August. Why is your summer song? Yeah, I don't whatever.
Totally.
But
Totally. Yes.
so how long did that song kind of take to create? Was that something that was turned quickly or yeah?
Yeah, so one of my best friends, she lives in Austin.
Hmm.
Um, she's a great songwriter, and she and one of my other friends and we write together a lot. We fly down there to write with her. She comes up here to write with us, and um, we were just kind of had one of our writing weekends down in Austin, and she was like, "What do you want to say?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I want to have some fun, like summer song." And I was in a season when we wrote that song where I was writing like a bunch of really dark, like deep stuff for no reason. Just that was just where I was at. Super happy in my life. Just that's what was coming out, and I needed a change of pace and I needed something that also meant something. It wasn't just like, go get drunk and that's how you be happy. It's like, well, maybe, but there's also like a whole body positivity and insecure thing that I am starting to be more vocal about. And I think everybody deals with it. But I was like, man, wouldn't it be nice to have a summer song that like gives people hope about you know, the way that they look. And I know so many people, and me included, who I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that because of whatever reason that nobody else thinks about.
Yeah.
You're in your, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I want to put out a song that surface level, it's like, you know, it like
Yeah.
doesn't really mean much surface level, but when you think about it and you dive into the lyric and you start really listening, you're like, oh, wait a minute, like being bikini ready, like that means being ready to have fun with your people. And like,
Mhm.
what I mean? So I wanted a song that kind of did both.
Yeah.
And that was, we kind of talked for a while and we're like, okay, this is the next one. Like, this is what we need to say. So it felt good to get that out and to put it out there.
Nice. As you were kind of describing that, I was like, actually, that does kind of track as to what I was when I was listening to it. It was like when I was in college, if this song came on, it wouldn't kill the vibe. Like it would
No.
just the vibe would still be there. But then you like listen to it in your car on the way to work or whatever, and it's like, oh, there's more going on here. It like yes, it doesn't kill the vibe at the bar or whatever, but there's more going on here. So
Oh,
yeah,
well,
that's
good. I'm glad it does that because that's the vibe we were going for. Is like
nice.
that second, third time you listen to it, you're like, oh wait, I think that's me.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, so that with that out and it seems to have been getting a lot of good reception and whatnot. Is that kind of what you've been picking up on? Is
Yeah, yeah, people are liking it, and it made it into a lot of summer boat, lake, beach podcast or podcast playlists this summer.
nice,
And yeah, people are liking it and relating to it, and I love that. That's
nice.
all you can ask for. And people on TikTok really liked it, so it's going.
Did you give it a big TikTok push?
Yeah, a little, well, not too bad.
No.
Um, no, but I don't understand TikTok.
Okay.
I don't,
Fair.
you need to be on it, and I get that, but I don't understand. No, we had my media team just kind of be like, post this, wear this, do that. And it was like, okay, you know, like
Nice.
I did a whole branding thing, and yeah, we tried to target it the best that we could. So
Yeah. I I don't understand TikTok either.
uh,
Like
I,
I just stopped trying. Like I'll put content out, but I literally it's just like the lowest bar stuff that I come up with because I used to be one of those creators that I would put a whole bunch of time and effort into TikTok videos. It's like 2 days and it's like, okay, it's perfect. It would get 200 views.
yeah,
And then I'd go do a video where I spend like 3 seconds on it and it gets 80,000 views. And I'm
yep,
like,
yeah,
what am I
it's
doing?
spaghetti at the wall. You don't know
Yep.
when it's done.
No.
It'll stick when it sticks, and that's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I was just like, all right, I'm gonna whatever I'm posting on YouTube Shorts and all that stuff, that's what's gonna go up on TikTok. If it
yeah,
works, it works. It is
totally,
what it is. So
totally. I love that.
so you'd mentioned that you're writing some of your best stuff. Are you
Mhm.
looking at like another single project this year, or do you kind of see yourself waiting till next year?
Yeah, so we've got some things in the works. We've got there's a buzz amongst the team. We don't really have the timeline finalized yet. With holidays, it gets kind of hard, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't really want to release, like my birthday is mid-November, and so we try not to release like after my birthday until the new year, just because holidays and the town shuts down and people are listening to Christmas music, and you know what I mean. So I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know if we'll be able to get one out before holiday season. But if we do, amazing. If not, let me tell you, we got some awesome stuff coming in the new year. If that's
Nice.
it lines up. So
Fair. So you're not looking at doing a Christmas song this year?
not this year, no.
Fair. I've
I
noticed that.
I
Go
wrote
ahead.
a song about being engaged on Christmas. That's my like ideal proposal. Like in a perfect world, I would be proposed to on Christmas morning, and I wrote a song about it. So we'll see if the man's ever does it. Maybe we'll put a song out about it. But
Fair. It's I see that becoming a more common thing amongst independent musicians where you still got the like covers that are coming out, but there's a lot of musicians that are just like
yeah,
doing originals right now, which is
which has
really
been
cool.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
hearing all of it, and yeah, I love a good Christmas song that you write yourself. And yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping maybe next year to get because I only have like the one Christmas song that I've written.
Hmm.
I really want to do like a Christmas in July thing next year where like I take a week and like every ride I go to, I'm like, we're gonna try to write a Christmas song and like see if we
Nice.
can create the vibe and put something out. But
Nice. I love it.
not this year, unfortunately.
Fair. It happened. You know, it's one of those things where you do have to like, it should already be like recorded
Oh,
and
totally,
basic. Yeah. So,
totally, totally.
but I also have musician friends that they'll sit down tonight, write a Christmas song, and it'll be ready to go by October 1st. And it's
Oh,
like,
totally.
I don't know how
It's
you guys
all
do
kind of
that, but
depends the speed at which your team is working.
yep, absolutely. So outside of music, what do you like getting into?
Yeah, so I'm a big dog person. I have a dog. I'm currently going back and forth on if I need a second dog. Currently, no, but we'll see. Um, I I work a bunch of jobs to try to make the money to support music, and I do part-time nannying and I love it. I've got all my little kiddos. They call me Maddie. Um,
Nice.
so that fills my cup up, and I work at a restaurant that I love, and the team there is so great. They actually just did a staff talent show, and I won the talent show, which was crazy. I got this
Nice.
beautiful bouquet of flowers, and yeah, it was a ton of fun. So I'm a homebody though. I am like I'll cook and have a glass of red wine, and like that's like the best night for me. So
Oh, I saw on your Instagram you like doing wine walks.
yes, yes, it's a new thing that I like to do. It all started because my boyfriend and I just moved in together a couple months ago, and he gets these like meal prep things delivered,
Mhm.
whatever. And they delivered it like 3 blocks away. All proud, had a picture and everything, and we're like, dude, this is not correct. But the person had left already and didn't know where they put it and couldn't direct us, and so it was like, okay,
Going,
gonna
going to
go
fig
for a walk. And we wandered up and down the streets until we found it. And I was like, if I have to do this, I'm bringing my wine.
fair.
And we're bringing the dog, and that's what we're gonna do. And so it's kind of become a thing that I am obsessed with. Is just like a little walk. We live by this teeny tiny but really cute little park. And I'm like, we're gonna do a wine walk in the park because it's I don't know, it's just like the best thing. Are you supposed to walk around with an open glass of I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think where
Uh,
they really draw the line is as long as it's not the like bottle,
no,
it's in a glass. They can't prove one way or the other what it is.
I'm in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
There's things. I'm
yeah,
not walking down the street, but yeah, that's a fun thing that I like to do.
fair. Now we're going super deep into this one
Sure.
because my true Chicagoan is kicking in right now.
Hmm.
I am currently looking at a picture of a pizza on your Instagram.
Yeah, it's a
Eh,
sad.
Is it?
Does
Because
it look appetizing?
I've not seen a pizza look that good in a very long time. So,
Okay, so it's gluten free first off
okay.
because I'm celiac. So I have to eat gluten free or I'll positively die. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a very good pizza. It was like a cauliflower crust, but it is when you said Chicago, I'm like, all right, the Chicago natives and the New Yorkers are gonna come for me for my gluten free
No,
pizza.
like I didn't even pick up on any of that. I just saw the cheese,
Oh, I know.
and that cheese looks absolutely delicious.
It was
I
fantastic.
don't, yeah.
It was
I,
so good. And I don't even remember where it was.
okay.
It was some
Because,
social event,
okay.
and
Gotcha.
all these old guys were tying flies, and it was fantastic. I had the most fun. I had the most fun. I had my pizza and I had my high noon, and I'm watching my man and all his friends tie and tell fishing stories. It was a whole thing. It was great.
Nice.
But
Uh,
yeah, amazing.
yeah. I'm gonna have to figure out where this pizza is sold because all we
Yeah.
have here in Texas is not very good homemade pizza that like some of
Yeah.
the non-chain places or the best chain place I've found is Marco's and that's
Okay.
about it. So
Pizza is good
yeah.
for
So
that.
I don't know. I saw that and I was just like, I want to talk about
Yeah.
this pizza. So
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say that it looked really sad because it's like thin and like there's an very apparent absence of flour, and it's like I thought I
like
was
so here's the thing, like because when everybody thinks of Chicago pizza, they think of the deep dish, all
Yes.
that stuff. That's what I'm looking at is very much what I ate. Like it's very thin tavern style pizza. That's what I grew up
Okay.
eating. So yeah,
Good.
but
I'm
I
sorry. My
had to bring
dog's
it up.
a toddler, so he's smacking me right now. He's like scratching at me. I
Uh,
apologize. Yeah, please.
it's all good. It's all good. So outside of music, you basically like to be outdoors. Is that fair?
Yeah, I fish and I've got a dog who's obsessed with outside, so I'm outside a lot and my happy place is the beach, so anytime I can go, I'm there. Um yeah, I like to chill and hang with my people, and I think probably because my career is so chaotic, like I try to stay the least chaotic as I can. And anybody who's gonna watch this who knows me is gonna be like, that's a lie. I try to stay nice and chill. Does it work? No. Being a
Yeah.
nanny, nothing chill about that. Like working at a restaurant, nothing chill about that. So like my life is chaos. However, I like to have some chill time with a glass of wine outside if I can, you know?
Sure. It's it's okay to be chaotic, but can you come down from the chaos? Is what I've found.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Totally.
fair,
It's taking some getting used to, but yes, we're learning to come down from it.
fair. And then growing up in Wisconsin, I'm guessing you were a Green Bay Packers fan. Is that
Yep.
yeah?
My first jersey was a Favre jersey.
That works. That's
Back,
it. See, I didn't have a problem with Favre. Like
yeah,
that time of the Bears Packers rivalry. Yes, it got a little much sometimes, but it was like a healthy.
it was a good, clean rivalry.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
healthy rivalry where there was nothing. It was just like but it was also during the time where like the Bears were on they had that SNL skit or whatever it
Yeah.
was, you
Yeah.
know, so it was just kind of healthy. But then when Aaron Rodgers came in, I don't know what happened or what turned or whatever, but
I do not know.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then go ahead.
No, yeah, the Packers have been interesting recently.
Yeah.
I, I'm trying to, hold on, please. I'm sorry. Hey, cut it out. My dog eats out of these big ceramic dishes and he's like a feral cat. Like he wants the food on the ground. So he
Yeah.
grabs it with his paw and throws it. Like I'm just trying to like not right now. I,
Fair.
um, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, that whole thing was, it was like when the Packers are on, like they were on.
Mm-hmm.
And Devontae Adams, like the two of them, it was like telepathy. But
Yeah.
when they were off, they were really off.
Yeah.
So, and now our new quarterback, is it Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Jordan.
That's who it is. Yeah.
First name I think is Jordan. I know his last name's Love. Now he's
Yeah.
hurt. I'm like hurt in a preseason game. Are you kidding me?
Wait, that explains why every time I go on Twitter,
Yeah.
it's every Packers fan that because growing up in Chicago, there's inevitably I grew up around a lot of Packers fans, I
Totally
guess. I don't
around a lot of Bears fans. Yeah.
yeah. And now like I was watching I couldn't watch the game yesterday because I was busy. I was out in New Mexico and I was like really busy. So I would just go on Twitter to kind of see what was happening. And I just see all these Packer fans rooting against the Bears. And I'm like,
Yeah, that was me.
I did what is but like not just like rooting against the Bears, but like
Oh,
getting excessive with
ew,
it.
I hate that. No, I was just like, please. But I also like the Titans. So I was like, all
Okay.
right. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets dirty.
Yeah.
They dirty. And I don't love it. I don't love it.
It's almost getting to the point where I've had friends for several years that are Packer fans, and it's like I'm about to just like cut this one off because you're going a little far here, my guy. So
Yeah, I don't exactly know what's up with that.
yeah, fair.
Like I
I
like it, but I'm like, y'all need to chill.
yeah. Have they been trying to convert you to be a Titans fan, or is that not?
No,
No.
no, I love the Titans. Go Titans. Go city I live in. But it's like, if I'm gonna lay down my Packer sword, you're gonna have to like prove worthy of that. You know what I mean?
And Will
Like I
Levis,
go to the Super Bowl. Okay. So
yeah,
it's like, I don't, you know,
fair, fair.
not to start any fires, but I like the Titans. I do, but it's like, I can't 100% go the other way. I just
Fair.
can't.
Sure. Will Levis isn't the quarterback for him. Like they need to
Yeah.
like just let him do his thing,
Yeah.
but be on the lookout for that next guy. So
I know. I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's just not it. So um, but yeah, so where you are you kind of on a break with shows as well, or are you kind of gearing that back up, or where you at
Yeah,
show
so
wise?
I played a show at the new Live Oak last night. It was great. Um, it was a ton of fun. The new Live Oak is gorgeous. It's
Nice.
like down the street a little bit, but it's so fun. It was great. I have a couple shows that I'm hosting at the Listening Room in October. Um, the 11th, I play a 1 o'clock round. I guess they have like a new like lunchy kind of thing,
Mm,
which is cool. Like on the weekends, it's like not brunch, not dinner. It's like it's fun. And then the 26th, I'm playing a brunch round. It'll be me and some of my favorite girls. So it's gonna be good. It'll be exciting. I just got confirmation earlier today that the tickets are live. So anybody who
awesome.
come out, tickets are live. So it'll be good. It'll be a fun time.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. And then if anybody wants to check out your music or any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Anywhere where you can stream, I am on. I spent it's embarrassing how much time I spent trying to make this link look good. And I still don't have it down. I don't have it, but in my Instagram bio, I have a link that they can click on, and there's articles, and it'll take you to all of the different streaming platforms and anything that you want. It's on there. Ticket links for the listening room will be up in a few days, so
Nice.
that's a good place to go. My Instagram's kind of like home base, and then it just kind of splinters off after that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was great. I appreciate you asking me to come on.
Yeah, absolutely. I found you randomly on Instagram and it was just kind
Love
of
it.
I've been doing that a lot more. Well, just I hate the fact that they call it doom scrolling
Wow.
because that sounds like negative almost, but it
Yeah.
makes all the sense in the world because it's accurate. So
Yeah. It's what else are you supposed to do before you go to bed and right when you wake up?
right.
Like, what
Right.
are you supposed to do?
Uh get ready to go to work.
There's
I
like
don't know.
in things that you're
Yeah.
supposed to do. Yeah. A million and one. Yeah.
I, it's one of those things where it's just like I enjoy it. It's something to do. So, but yeah. Um, and then before we wrap this up here really quick, what's one piece of advice you have for the young musicians out there?
Oh man. I had my mentor, Bart Herbison, he's over at NSAI. He's the chief operating officer,
Hmm.
something. He's got a big title, and I am a bad friend for not knowing it. But when I first started meeting with him, I had a lot of anxiety, and I was like, I'm afraid that it's gonna make me not be able to do this job, right? And he is like, lean in, I gotta tell you a story. Oh, low battery. He was
Yeah.
like, lean in, I gotta tell you a story. And I was like, all right. He goes, there's this song that was written, and he's like, it was never finished, never put out or anything, but it was about this boy who was going through a lot of bad stuff. And he went out to live with his uncle in Colorado, and his uncle had this ranch, and it was on land, one of the only places in the world where cattle and buffalo can roam together. I guess they both need different terrain and different
Mm.
foods and on the ground, and he's like, this is one of those places that they can coexist.
Yeah.
And he was like, so this song takes place, this boy is sitting out on the porch, and he's watching this storm roll in, and the uncle's giving him advice, and he's like, when the storm rolls in, like, watch what the animals do, because the cattle, they like get all bugged out and they start running from the storm because you can see it from miles and miles away.
Mhm.
And it just chases them for miles. These poor cattle are just running, and the storm is on their tail the entire way. And he's like, the uncle's like, but watch the buffalo, because they line up and they charge it. They charge right through the storm. And so the hook of the song is be the buffalo. And so Bart told me, he was like, if I can give you one piece of advice in the music industry and in life, it is to be the buffalo. So when I graduated Belmont, I had a present on my front door from Bart, he contacted the writer and he had written out the lyrics and signed it for me because it became my
Wow.
mantra. And I have a buffalo tattoo.
Wow, that's
Like
really
it
cool.
became my mantra, became my thing. So that's my advice for people starting out. Be the freaking buffalo. If it scares you, good. Run at it. Because
Nice.
some of the best things in life scare you. So
Yep, 100% agreed. So that might be, I'm in my head, I'm like, that's going up on YouTube right there. I'll
oh, I love
figure it
it.
out. So,
I mean,
but
it's good advice. It's great. It's fantastic.
I
So
agree. 100% agreed. But once again, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for
yeah,
hanging
thank
out. It's been an
you.
absolute blast.
Yeah, it's
It's
been great.
yeah. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch y'all later.